So we're just trying to figure out the layout of the garden. So originally when we started our first garden, we had it down at the bottom of the hill, and what I was saying is that we had a lot of canopy coverage and we didn't get any sunlight. There were a lot of bugs. I really didn't want to go down there and work. Needless to say, I was also very pregnant at the time, so it was just, I was trying to keep away from mosquitoes and all that other stuff. By the time we got down to start planting and really start checking out how the plants were doing, half of the onions just didn't grow. Our pumpkins were eaten. The watermelon was done. The squash and the zucchini, I feel like you can grow squash and zucchini wherever and they would just be fine, because they still kept blooming, but whatever it was eating them, and they were trying to fight with a vengeance and they weren't.
Well, I mean, the plant will grow, but if it's not in the right conditions, it won't fruit. You won't have squash and zucchini. You'll just have a plant.
Okay, so hold the camera. So what we're doing, that seat was wet and I wet behind me. So what we're doing is, you said this is 24 by what?
100.
So it's 24 inches by 100 inches down that way. 100 feet.
It's 2 foot, 5
Okay, and then we're gonna have 18 inches supposedly. That's what we're trying to work out right now, is the 18 inches in between for the walkway. So it'd be enough to pretty much walk like this and still have a little bit of room that way. So theoretically that wouldn't be too bad. And then we would have all of this. This tree is the neighbor's, so it would be from like here down. And then there's my magnolia tree. That's one of them. And then we would have to figure out where we're going to position the door, the entrance, and kind of use a trellis like that too. So
just over here playing with weeds.
hey, what happened to your legs?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Scabies.
You get the cooties? You didn't get the cootie shot?
I got the cooties. I have a slight allergy problem to poison ivy.
And guess who doesn't get it?
Yeah.
You jealous?
Hmm?
You jealous?
I've had it my whole life. I'm not even. I just scratch it.
You
go
can't
on.
even.
I couldn't imagine life without it.
Well, in other news, I transplanted 3 of the zinnias that I had started in the house. I felt like SpongeBob there. In the house! No running! In the house! So, let's see. Just kind of scattered them. Here's one. She kind of grew that way, so she's a little lopsided. It's okay. We still love you. And then we have this big mama. And then we have that one. And I just set out my pepper plants. Those are the bird gourds. I repotted them yesterday. They're doing pretty good. And then here's my Italian large leaf basil. That's my ahi plant. Here's my serrano. This little serrano has a flower. There it is. I'm excited. And then I just temporarily put my banana plant there. You look like little Orphan Annie.
Oh well.
Well,
I want to like whip the tiller out and like get stuff cut in.
well, when are you wanting to have this put in? Because if you want, like, I don't have any space to start the fall stuff, because we're supposed to start fall stuff supposedly between now and like July, maybe August. And as far as I know right now, we're still going to be having stuff growing and coming in at that time. Oh,
That was my knee.
that was my hip.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you still planning on cutting back that blackberry bush
Yeah.
all the way?
No sensing. Like, I'm not going to cut it back right now, because until we get the fence up, we're not going to have a gate, which means we're not going to need a road. And
The
there's
only
no sense
thing,
in cutting it back right now.
the only thing is, like, in the winter time, if the driveway is kind of sucky, we're gonna have to pull back here.
We'll still be able to pull in, even with the garden in. If we don't have a privacy fence, then we can still pull in. When you put up a privacy fence, then you're starting to put posts, and you gotta drive around them and like go through the gates, and then that's when that blackberry bush is gonna have to be trimmed back to the right to make room for a truck.
So, how are you wanting to kind of close in the garden? Not like the outside privacy fence, but like
Inside.
Yeah.
Inside the outside garden.
Yeah. The inner outer garden.
Probably a fence type structure.
Fence type structure. Okay. Are you wanting to do kind of like hardwire and just get a row of, or a roll of hardwire and just kind of run it down and get a couple of posts? Because if we do
Yeah, I feel like I could probably take out a mortgage on the house, like a second mortgage on the house, and afford fencing material, because it's ridiculous right now.
Or we can just use the wood that we cut down the trees with.
That's ugly.
It's rustic.
It's rusty.
It's resourceful.
Nope.
Okay.
I want to put in posts. I want to have a top rail and a bottom rail and hardwire cloth in between. And I want to sand and stain everything and make it look super, super nice.
I could just see myself again staining in the middle of winter. Why am I doing this again?
I'm gonna build it and let you stain everything. But it's a fence, so you can take a roller and just...
No, see, the last time that I did a roller, it just laid it on really thick.
It's a garden fence. It's not kitchen cabinets.
I don't think I'll ever stain again. I'm never gonna stain again.
That's why the chicken coop has that one board on it that's not stained.
Yeah.
What else were we supposed to stain and we didn't?
The cabinet that goes above the refrigerator.
I wasn't going to mention that one. There was something else we were supposed to stain.
If we actually got that up, we're going off topic here, but if we actually got that up, we would have room for canning stuff.
We're going to have a closet designated for canning stuff.
Anyway. Okay. Well, I guess let's go ahead and, how are you wanting to lay out the string? We don't have enough. My mind is going a million miles a minute. My mouth is like, no.
Let me answer the question you're trying to ask. We're going to teal, cut all this up, and then we're going to take that same exact string. We're going to measure 18 inches over it and then put that up again. And that makes our second row. We're going to make sure everything looks nice. It's not all side goggling.
Okay.
It's just nice and straight.
Million dollar question now.
Okay.
Are you drinking my water?
That's your $1 million question?
No.
No, I'm not drinking.
When are you planning on tilling? Or when are you wanting to till? Which goes back to my original question.
I
When
wish
are
I
you
could
wanting to
put.
put it in?
I wish I could put.
Will you stop scratching?
No, I have poison out. I wish I could put headlights on the tiller because I would do it at nighttime because it's 1,000 degrees right now.
It's not too bad in the shade now.
Soon. If you want to flip the camera around, that tree's got to go.
That tree?
That tree's
That's
got.
such a pretty tree, though.
It's such a pretty, big, giant, shaded tree right over the top of where we're going to put our garden. So that tree has to go.
Okay. Is this tree going to?
I might trim it back to let some sun in, but we could probably keep that.
Okay.
For now. If we ever do want to cut it down, it'd be easy. I'll just have to fell it that way down the hill and be off and running.
Do you want to take them to see the little peach nectarine plum tree?
Do you want to?
Come on. I need help getting it.
I need help getting them.
Okay, you go first and I go second.
Let's make like a tripod teepee type. You just lean on me, I'll lean on you, and then we'll just work our way up.
Let's see if we can do this
Like
thing.
this.
Let's see. You keep telling what?
I keep telling her to turn her camera sideways. And she's filmed this whole entire video with it straight up and down. Because I hate watching YouTube videos and this picture is this big. So maybe when we get up.
Okay. Alright. I'm gonna have to split that video. Ow. See, if I had a tripod, I could like hold this and it wouldn't be so. I don't know. There we go. Alright, so let me flip you around. So we got that burn pile done. It was gross. It was here before we even moved here. All of this was where our old garden was. And,
Look how shaded it is.
I know. That's why all our stuff got stunted. Is there still a boatload of poison ivy around? Is this poison ivy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Those right.
Okay. My friends, poison ivy. Poison ivy. Okay, so apparently there's just a crap ton of poison ivy around here, and you've got to like lift up your legs up to your chin to walk.
Can't be wearing no hot waters out
No. Alright. Here is our little, and you can still see where our old rows were. Like here's the little walkway, here's the mound, here's another thing. Here is our little grafted tree. We picked this up. We got this at Home Depot? Yeah. This part is a plum. Like these branches here are a plum tree. She already flowered, so. This one, is this main stem the peach section, and then this part the nectarine?
This whole tree's a nectarine tree. It's got peach and plum.
Okay, well apparently he said that the whole tree is a nectarine tree, and then it's got the graft of peach and plum. But look how cute. I'm so excited. She's What are you doing? Okay, so this is day 2. We kind of just finished yesterday talking about the compost pile. We're just trying to start building up our compost. We have to age, like I said in the last video, we have to age our chicken manure for at least 6 months, so we're not really using that stuff yet. But everything that we're putting in there, from grass clippings to food scraps, we put in some old potting soil there just to kind of help speed that process up. I'm trying to think what else we put in there.
Yeah.
Those are seeds. Mommy's gonna talk about these. You wanna help? Thank you. I'm trying to think, like I said, oh, we've got some old straw in there, some wood chips from a few of the trees that we had thrown through the chipper. There were some trees right where the greenhouse is right now that we had to knock down just because it was in that flat area, and that's one of the flattest regions that we have in the back lot. So our lot is kind of like a gentle slope in the backyard, so it goes straight back to the road, and then on the right hand side from the burn pile all the way down, that is just sloping hill. So we originally thought that we were going to put a garden there, but I didn't like where it was going to have a lot of runoff if we did have a heavy rain. But anyway, enough about that. So yesterday afternoon we decided we had to go to the library to return some of the books that we had borrowed just for the baby. And they do have the Seed Saver library there, which is pretty cool. I first saw them at the Earth Day fair at the farmers market last month, and so I looked a little bit more into that and saw that our library, as far as our county library, they do the Seed Saver library. Save some of the seeds from whatever you've sown in the past. I did see some commercial seeds there that people just bring, like the little envelopes, and just kind of contribute. Oh, thanks. We don't have any flies yet. Oh, bless you. So if you grow something in your garden or whatever and you save some of the seeds, you can bring in a little packet and one of the ladies in the front will label it, and then you contribute to it. So what you just need is one of the green slips with your name information on there, and they kind of try to keep track of what you take and what you bring in. So the last time that I had taken any seeds, I got the yellow treasure tomato. I tried looking it up online and it had several different names, so I'm not too sure about it, but I sowed one seed in each of the 6 cell pot that I had from the strawberry plants that I had bought, I want to say like 2 months ago. And I had a pretty good germination rate. 4 out of the 6 germinated. So I'm pretty excited to get that in the ground, hopefully when after they get their first set of true leaves and they grow a little bit taller. Those I believe are indeterminate, so we will definitely have to trellis those up. But anyway, enough about that. They give you a limit, 6 packs per member. So Chandler yesterday got his library card because we originally had the city library card, and so the county library was a little bit closer to us. You're being silly. Anyway, the county library was a little bit closer to us than the city library. So, oh, and I also made my fall list of things that I wanted to get in the ground for this winter, fall-winter sowing. So I'm already thinking about that because we have pretty much everything that we wanted to sow for the springtime and the summer. Pretty much everything that's already in the ground or in pots or in the green stalk is what I had anticipated for this first year. Because I really didn't have any concrete plans of what we were going to sow, where, and we didn't have any specific location. I just went seed crazy. So here's the little envelope that I got at the library, and I just wrote seeds on it. You can have that. And I got 5 seed packets. Now with this, I'm not going to be using all of the seeds. It's kind of a use what you will use and then bring the remainder back. And or whenever you do go to seed at the end of the season, save your seeds and bring them back. So there were a few heirloom seeds that I did get from the library, which is pretty cool. And I know some of these are not cool weather crops, but I'm going to try to do them in the greenhouse. And we have plans of heating the greenhouse somehow, whether it's with a little space heater and like a fleece cloth over the greenhouse, or the Tupperware containers with water to kind of dissipate that heat, and do like a passive heating. But we're not too sure yet as far as winter plans for that. So I picked up a snowball Y cauliflower. It's an heirloom seed. It's from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. So this is, I don't know if you can see it, Dinosaur Kale. I'm really excited to grow this. If you've never seen what Dinosaur Kale looks like, definitely check it out. It's pretty gnarly looking. And it looks like, I told my husband yesterday, I said, it looks like something that like a long-necked dinosaur would definitely be munching on from like the cartoons, like Land Before Time or something. And then the other 3 envelopes that I got were beans, because we are a bean-eating, loving family. We are a bean-loving family, and me as being of Hispanic descent and culture, I could eat beans with everything. My grandmother, who lives in Puerto Rico, we have a little joke that she could literally live off of rice and beans for the rest of her life and be completely content. So there was a recipe, non-Hispanic related. One of my instructors in nursing school brought in a pinto bean pie or something. Sounds weird, and it sounds like it would be a savory dish, but it was a sweet, delicious dessert. And so we went to the Bush's Baked Beans factory in Tennessee, and we had the pinto bean pie. I think it was like with pecans or something, pecans, tomato. And it was delicious. It was the same exact thing. So if you are interested, or if you know and you've had it and you don't know the recipe, go on like Bush's Baked Beans and look in their desserts, and they have the recipe online. First one is a pole bean and a sazi. These are pretty cool. And I primarily picked the beans that were the coolest looking. Just to kind of try something different, as opposed to having the same provider bean, Kentucky Wonder, which there's nothing wrong with that, but grow something different, right? These kind of look like little Dalmatians. They're really pretty. I'll put some more information on there. These are pretty cool. Oh, that's my boot. Thank you. Thanks, babe. So that is a pole bean. Here is the Scarlet Runner, also a pole bean. I think, yeah, that Anasazi was harvested from last year, 2021. So whoever brought it in, thank you very much. Scarlet Runners, I read online that the blooms are red. And hummingbirds love them. Bless you. Bless you. Y'all, the pollen here is outrageous with the pine trees that we have. If the wind blows, you literally see like a sheet of just green blowing by. Here are the beans, the Scarlet Runner. They're good fresh or dry, and they also are a pole bean. So we will be trellising these up. And I can't wait to get more cattle panels. I know cattle panel can be pricey right now. It's about $25, $26 a panel, are about $26 right now at Tractor Supply. Turtle beans, are used mostly for like Caribbean Creole cooking. And they're teeny tiny beans. And these are, they're from 2017, they were local. The Scarlet Runner are good fresh or dry, and they are pole beans, so they will need to be trellised. And then the Anasazi beans are pole beans also. Alright, so I just got done talking about the beans that we had gotten, and these were from the library. So whenever we're done using them, we'll just go ahead and save either some of the seeds and bring them back, or just bring the remainder back of whatever we didn't use. So now let's talk about my fall planting list. I'm pretty excited about this. Okay, so I got to talking with my neighbor and we just chatted for a little bit, but the fall growing list, we plan on using the greenhouse for whatever is hard freeze tolerant. We're going to directly plant outside. And then we have plans of maybe doing like a semi-mini high tunnel, just to keep some of the things that are frost tolerant and whatnot out there. The next thing were the beans, which I already explained that. Broccoli, we have some broccoli grown in the green stalk already, but we are big on broccoli too. So the list that I have here, which is, I just wrote it on my notebook, just like a page and a half, but the list that I have is things that we normally eat on a regular basis, which you want that for your garden, because if you're not going to eat something, then what's the point of growing it? Like for example, I love artichokes, but the only way that Chandler eats it is with artichoke dip. I've not cooked artichoke before, but I've had it roasted and grilled and whatnot, so I enjoy artichoke and I'll grow it for me. If he wants to have some, so be it. The next one would be Brussels sprouts, which we have to start at the end of this month. And so some of the other things that I have, we have cabbage starting. We'll have to start that at the end of July. Carrots, we have that in the big garden bed. I've been succession sowing it just to kind of see, and we'll just go ahead and thin that out after. What I'll have to do is just, it's recommended to cover it with burlap and keep it well watered. You don't want to over water them, but I was doing the method of Jazz at Roots and Refuge to put a 4x4, like a post piece of wood over it after you sow it in the ground. So if it's windy, if it rains a lot, you know, it's not going to wash away the seeds. And I found that to be helpful for a certain amount of time while they did germinate, and then once they germinated, I found that the slugs like ravaged the tops off of them. So the second time that I sowed these seeds, I just did it without the 4x4 post. Celery, I heard, is difficult to grow. We shall see about that. We have cilantro already in the green stalk. We have garlic, and then the kale, leeks. I'm excited to grow leeks too. Lettuce, onions, parsley. We have parsley already. The peas, I'm going to sow some more of those and trellis them up. Potatoes, spinach, and turnips. The same thing with turnips. I've never had a turnip in my life, but I lied. I had one bite of a turnip. Didn't really like it. But I heard that from my husband that you can make them into like kind of like mashed potatoes. So yeah, that's the plan for the fall garden. And so let's go over here and check these babies out. We do have the green beans growing. There are the green beans. We have a few on this first plant. I don't know if this is the provider bean or anything, but she has been liking the trellis, and I've just been clipping her up as she goes for more support. We have a couple more here. Those are some really pretty flowers. Little purple blooms. And here are our peas. They've been growing like mad. And I am so excited to have fresh peas from the garden. He's a little sweat bee. He disappeared. And then I recorded this section and didn't press record apparently because it didn't record this last time. What I did with the tomatoes, I cut off, these are the Terminate tomatoes, so what I did was just cut off the bottom 2 leaves because they were touching the soil. And let me see if I can find some. Now they're wilted because they're not attached to the plant anymore. But if you can see, they started turning yellow. Some of them had little bug holes in them. I don't know if they were beetles or what. So I just snipped them off. I'm not going to be pruning these. I'm just going to let them grow. We will trellis them up eventually when they get tall enough. But I have been noticing that on the one end of the garden bed, the tomatoes have been thriving and not just surviving, and they've been growing way quicker, and they're actually taller than the other side of the garden. And I did grow all of the tomatoes together from seed, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here are the tomatoes, and like I said, I have Roma and Oregon Spring planted in here. So these look really good. But then the further you go down, they kind of look scrawny. And this one, I guess that was my marigold, has been completely demolished by something, so I'm gonna have to take care of that. Something ate the leaves to it. Something ate the leaves to this, and my guess might be maybe slugs. So leaves are getting yellow here too, but I don't know what's going on with these guys. I've watered them the same way, and so I think here's, yep, something else ate this marigold. Would you look at that? So I had planted several marigold plants here from seed, and whatever pest is eating the marigolds has pretty much wiped out the whole thing. I sowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think half of them are gone. I only see 2 really. 1, 2. Yep. So I do believe I'm going to have to get some kind of organic spray to take care of that, and try to do some more research and see exactly what's eating it, because whatever it is has been munching on my purple basil too, and I specifically planted the basil in there to try to help deter pests. So if anybody has any kind of idea as to what else I can plant with the tomatoes, because I really want to have my tomatoes thrive and not just survive, So I kind of lopped off some of the basil plants before, and just right above the shoulders, so she can grow bushier and not just taller and go to seed. So we'll see how that goes. But here is one of the basil plants, and you see the holes. So I don't know if these are earwigs or some kind of flea beetle. She seems to be doing a little bit better over here. See, I cut that stem off right there. And this one here. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to, like I said, do some research, see what's eating my plants, and go from there. But as far as this video, thank you guys for hanging out and just listening to me ramble and get attacked by flies. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.